Hola a todos, chavales, ¿qué tal? Bienvenidos una vez más a un vídeo. Voy a reaccionar a el Hogwarts Legacy Showcase, que ha sido hace en torno a unos 45 minutos más o menos. No lo he visto en directo porque francamente no quería comerme un montón de paja, quería ir directamente a las partes de gameplay. Y por tanto voy a ir saltándome partes que me parezcan un poco irrelevantes, como entrevistas, charlas y demás. Y vamos a ir de full gameplay con este evento. No he visto nada al margen de eso, que voy a saltar de cositas. Así que veremos qué tal está. Pero este juego tiene una pinta espectacular. Le tengo unas ganas a este puto juego, tío. En febrero es seguramente lo que más ganas tengo de jugar. Y eso que febrero es un mes muy bestia en cuanto a lanzamientos. Pero bueno, vamos a ver, ¿qué tal, Chandler? ¿Cómo lo llevas, crack? Me alegro de que estemos aquí todos. Vale. A ver si es verdad. Vale, no me importa. Quiero ver gameplay. Vale. Tema de crear el personaje. Vale, me sirve. Editor bastante completito, ¿eh? Diferentes tipos de rostro, con rasgos muy sutiles entre una cara y otra. Me gusta bastante estas opciones, ¿vale? Vale. Vale, parece interesante, ¿eh? A ver, lo que echo de menos a priori es el tema de poder modificar las facciones más allá de los rostros predefinidos. Igual se puede cambiar después. Voy a dar un poquito para adelante a ver si se puede cambiar. Por ejemplo, el tamaño de la nariz, de la boca, la separación de los ojos. Pero la verdad que sí, porque aquí está hablando de las mejillas y demás. Vale. Da la impresión de que sí, ¿eh? Vale, varios niveles de dificultad, nivel historia, fácil, normal, difícil. Dos tipos de voz, por lo que estoy viendo, nombre de personaje, bueno, obviamente nombre y apellido. Vale, vale.
But you know, here's where you bring you choose voice 1 or voice 2, which is more kind of a masculine or feminine voice, and then even...
Vale, voice 1, voice 2 y luego el pitch, que es como el agudo, el grave. Vale, vale, está bien, está. Voy a ir rápidamente con esto porque obviamente no quiero comerme 50 horas de charlación. Vale, el HUD, primera vez que lo muestran. Vale, selector de hechizos rápidos, ahí abajo con el R2. Vale, más de 20 hechizos a lo largo del juego. Interesante. Vale, veo también las pociones. Ajá.
So the eyeball is an example of one of not a slottable spell, but what we call an essential spell. There are certain spells that are used in very specific contexts, or that we just want on the controller at all times.
Vale.
And Revelo is one of those. That's left on the D-pad. On the right on the D-pad is that grid represents where you might slot spells.
De acuerdo.
So, right now, today, we're not going to be going into the spell slotting menu because we feel like there's a lot of spoilers there. You know, like what are all the spells and what can we do?
I would like spoilers, but I understand.
But we do want to make sure there's still some goodies left to share with everyone. And then on the left side, that thing that has the L1 button next to it, that's another thing where we don't want to spoil, but basically that's where you access your tool wheel. So there's a lot of magical tools that you're
herramientas mágicas.
Kind of brewing and growing over the course of the game.
Vale.
And so that's where you would access them rapidly is our tool wheel.
Okay, cool.
There are a few things that I left off the table on the right. The green bar is your health, and basically there's a potion next to it. That's how you might heal. The bar above it, we're keeping a secret for now. I apologize.
Está ocultando muchas cosas que se pueden ver claramente lo que son, pero bueno, de acuerdo. Vale, el interfaz es muy sencillo, gente. Tampoco hay mucha vuelta que darle. Vamos a ir al gameplay en pantalla completa y a ver qué más nos cuenta. Venga, vamos a ver. Me gusta mucho cómo han hecho el tema de las casas. Hice un vídeo hace un mes y medio más o menos enseñando todas las casas. Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, Slytherin y Gryffindor. Muy chulas, la verdad. Francamente chulas. Cada detalle está puesto en su sitio. Me gustó mucho lo que enseñaron, la verdad. Además, muy distintos a nivel de arquitectura, a nivel de detalles también. Me gusta.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. Look at that.
Se ve muy bien, en verdad, el juego. Mira qué pasada Se ve de puta madre, tío.
here and talking about it, and I'm sure Boston and James could be like just geeking out over.
Voy a lanzar una descripción, sí, una descripción, sí. Voy a lanzar una... voy a aventurarme a decir que este juego para final de 2023 habrá vendido 10 millones de copias. Muy mal tiene que darse el juego, que salga roto y demás, para que este juego no llegue a las 10 millones de copias fácilmente en un año. Va a ser una putísima barbaridad. O sea, va a ser una bestialidad a nivel de ventas. Por más que haya boicot y no sé qué, al final eso no vale para nada fuera de Twitter. Y Twitter le quedan 4 días viendo lo que está haciendo Elon Musk, así que este juego va a vender la de Dios. Va a vender una putísima bestialidad. Porque se ve que han cuidado cada pequeño detalle para que, ¿sabes? Sea francamente tocho.
To that question, and it's given to you by the staff. So there's something that we call the Wizard's Field Guide that's granted to you.
Vale, guía de campo de mago que te da al principio del juego.
And the Wizard's Field Guide is how you actually work on catching up with the other students. So Andrew, if you hit pause for me up here before you push forward a little bit.
Vale, si pausa sale el menú. ¡Qué bonito! Oye, la interfaz es guapísimo, en verdad, ¿eh? Vale, está el tema del equipo, inventario, los talentos, progresa a través de la historia para desbloquearlos, colecciones que debe ser una típica bestiario y tal, mapa, misiones, mensajes, vale, y opciones.
That's your Wizard's Field Guide, and you can see your house kind of crest overlaid over it.
Vale.
And you can see that on your level as well. So that the Field Guide has this magical property of looking out into the world around you, and the reason why it's on loan from the Ministry of Magic and the professors have granted it to you as a fifth-year student is because they want it to help you catch up to the other kids. And its magical property is to discover different opportunities to learn and grow all around you. So the way it works is, as you discover gameplay in the game, it actually recognizes that as a challenge, which is kind of locked into there. And Andrew, if you go in there, you'll see different types of challenges that are combat challenges, quest challenges.
Vale, esta interfaz es muy de juego de móvil, ¿eh? Saben a lo que van, tío. Saben a lo que van. Van al target. Van dirigidos a un target muy concreto. Vale, estos son los desafíos. Por arriba challenges. Y overall progress es el progreso general. Tenemos el combate, las misiones, exploración, búsqueda de páginas y requerimientos de la habitación. Room of requirement. Más bien habitación de los requisitos, ¿no?
That entire category is one of the ways that the book itself kind of fills out into the school and spills out into the school and kind of hides itself with different types of challenges and different things to do around the school that you're actually going to interact with to help you grow as
a ver.
Yeah.
Dale para adelante.
Fast travel points there. House hourglasses. We had to. How much fun was it designing those and putting all those in
gorgeous,
there?
But that they're there just like in the books.
Yes.
Right next to the Great Hall.
It's a nod to lore. House points is not a core mechanic or system in the game.
We didn't turn it into like a gameplay system, but it's definitely present.
Vale, interesante.
And there are lots of choices where we want to nod to things that aren't necessarily gameplay systems, but we nod to them as part of the narrative.
Over to the right there, Andrew was teasing, that's the Great Hall over through those doors. Again, we're not going there. He's just kind of like...
Para coña, se ve espectacular el puto juego, tío. Se ve gráficamente chulísimo. Ahí están las páginas que hay que recoger.
Here's another collectible page, you know, just again showing you like just these things around Hogwarts that you...
Vale, se añade automáticamente, te dan experiencia y se añade directamente al Field Guide.
Can do and pick up and
that's a shot straight from the trailer too. Just that part right there. I recognize that.
We might be giving you a little fan service here with callbacks to those. So
and this must be
me gusta que el personaje mientras se va caminando va observando la estatua, o sea, está bien tirado.
Summertime windows. These windows will change with the seasons.
Yeah, the detail I put in this is kind of I get surprised by it all the time.
That's a sentient magic castle. So.
Qué guapo.
Oh man. And we're going out. Look at...
A ver, esa puerta, o el niño es un superhéroe, esa puerta no se abre con un dedo, pero bueno.
This is where the students would normally kind of congregate, just to kind of chill out, play, meet each other outside the Great Hall before and after meals.
And I love the way that when the castle
interconnects
to, that it interconnects outside, inside. There are pathways on both sides.
Hay bastantes NPCs para lo que podría.
To how big this castle is.
And when you see things like you'll notice a bridge over there. That's a place you can go to and cross. Like everything that you see.
Me pregunto si puedes hablar con ellos o simplemente son decorado.
We tried so We put a lot of effort in making it feel
Porque
really
antes en la sala
alive.
común había un
Not
puntito
just
para
a student
interactuar, pero aquí
population.
parece que
We
no los
just do
hay.
greenery and stuff. It's Scotland.
Yeah.
And this castle's been here for hundreds of years, so it just kind of the moss and all the trees that have overgrown it and
Oh my gosh.
that landscape, that Scottish.
El presentador está flipando, claro, lo dejó.
I thought I recognized it. I believe this is from the Spring ASMR.
¿Ves? Aquí se puede interactuar, porque hay un iconito.
And yes, so that puzzle right there, that view, Andrew is taking us right back to
I am going to tell Andrew not to interact with that puzzle and to keep moving on.
Vale.
We can't spoil everything. We can't give you everything, right?
Hogwarts contains a lot of secrets.
Qué guapo.
But this
A ver, Chandler. No me contes tu vida, amigo.
Oh my
This
gosh.
is another location where the students will gather, you know, and just kind of chill out.
Ahí está.
and an
And,
opportunity
Nelly
to
Oxfire.
talk to somebody, get a
Yeah.
quest giver here.
Is everything all right?
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm Nelly, by the way. I'm
Vale.
just so
Placer, Nelly.
excited that the Daedalian keys are back.
The what keys?
The Daedalian keys. Surely you've seen them flying about.
Claro.
Rumour is that a former headmistress, Professor Moll, conjured them to protect the contents of certain locked cabinets
Vale, o sea, hay
years
que recoger
ago.
las hojas.
Professor Black couldn't be bothered to disenchant the keys, and they appear every few years.
Vale.
You should try to catch one.
Why would I do that?
Each key will lead you to a locked cabinet somewhere in the castle. If you can manage to get the key into the cabinet lock, not an easy task, you may
Un
find
coleccionable que te da
reward.
acceso a otros coleccionables. Me gusta. Ah, mira, el sistema de árbol de diálogos. ¿Directamente o sacarle más información?
Perhaps I'll give it a go.
I hope you do. In fact, I think I heard one of the keys in the astronomy tower.
Vale.
You should listen for them.
Vale.
So those kind of
I
side
hope
quests
you
are
follow
really, it's a cool way to interact
manage to
with
open a
your
cabinet.
fellow students, with perhaps other teachers, with, you know, various...
Vale. Vamos a saltar a otra parte de adelante. Vale, estamos viendo otra vez el tema de los
Everyone hates you.
diálogos.
Why?
Because Hogwarts is full of bullies and spoil sports. Leander Pruitt's one of the worst. That no-talent moon...
Os pregunto en comentarios. ¿Estos nombres que está usando, Leander, Pruitt, la chica de antes y tal, son personajes reales de los libros o son 100% inventados? Entiendo que habrán tenido el apoyo de toda la comunidad de la Wizardry, bueno, como se llame la empresa que se dedica a expandir el universo de J.K. Rowling. ¿Pero son de los libros o son inventados? Os pregunto porque no lo sé, ¿eh?
Mind. I wanted to make some new friends, and so I brought my collection down to the common room. My gobstone collection, that is. I was hoping someone would want to play. Are
Vale.
you familiar with gobstones? Little balls, like marbles. Grand game.
Ah,
And if you lose, they spray you with a foul-smelling liquid.
suena apasionante. Dale, suena asqueroso.
I haven't much interest in a game that sprays you with odors.
Only if you lose, which I never do. Or at least, not often. People can be so cruel. Just because they're sprayed all over with smelly gobstone spit, it's their own fault for losing.
Claro que sí.
Imelda is one of the worst losers. Everett and Astoria are terrible as well. And now those poor losers have taken...
Es que dan un montón de nombres y no sé si son inventados todos. Imelda, Everett, Astoria, Zenobia. O si directamente son parte del lore de los libros.
and
Que no he
hidden them
leído.
in very high
He visto las
places
películas
all
y
over
ya.
the school.
Vale, esto es la misión secundaria, buscar los gobstone estos, ¿no? Vale, pues me da un poco igual. Vamos a seguir con las zonas comunes y zonas en pantalla full screen.
Acknowledge it, touch it, you know, and make it feel like it's definitely part of the world.
Ahí está.
And I know here, too, we're
I see your
like...
reaction.
we're getting-
Estamos buscando, mira, está buscando los gobstones de Zenobia, 0 de 6, el marcador de distancia o de objetivo y arriba la puerta interactuable.
I was like, we're in Defense Against the Dark.
Vale, mi mapa te marca por dónde estás yendo.
Y
por dónde has ido, de hecho.
Walking by. I also recognized the dragon at the very top. Oh my gosh.
Being in a classroom, I think this is a good opportunity to talk about
dale.
how classes work. Because we've
Interesante.
gotten a lot of questions about that. Is it a schedule-based system? Is it so tell us how classes work.
Interesante.
So ultimately decided not to go the sim route. So I think like one of the speculations was, is there time of day? And you know, that kind of thing. Like, can I miss class at this time of day?
There is a day-night cycle.
Yeah, there is a day-night cycle, but everything is very narrative-based, and so there's a big mystery going on in the world. There's something happening in the narrative, and we essentially see it as kind of like.
Que a las 5 de la tarde hora local no hay una clase, sino que depende de la historia.
Through the game, and classes fit within that structure. So there are mainline things that the players have to do, and then classes also appear on the sides as well as optional things that help you.
Es lógico, si no sería un jardín importante.
Si
quieren llegar a todo el mundo, no pueden obligar a la gente a jugar unas horas concretas.
Each one of them has these bespoke kind of events and moments in those missions, and then there are also additional opportunities.
Te pinta demasiado bien para creérselo, Pinta demasiado bien para creérselo este puto juego.
You can learn additional spells or things that you need in your adventure, and also get to know the professors better.
And I just want to call out something that Andrew's been kind of showing off, ways to kind of interact with the environment and just engage with the world. And, you know, maybe down there he's sipping some tea with
Victorian high, you know.
High society.
High society.
And it's no wonder you like this area.
Muy guay.
For like the purebloods and the Slytherins.
Oh, come on.
Francamente
like, speaking of lived in, like, the sound effects again, the chatter of the communication that's happening and the footsteps, like, it just makes it feel more alive.
Little events like that.
Un poquito más para adelante, a ver.
Be sure to cast all your spells before the dummy lands. If you need to stop practicing before you finish all of them, let me know.
And this is a really good opportunity to now jump
el combate. Esto quería ver yo.
In the game, this is going to be the first time where you yourself get to learn about combat and combos in a big way and in a new way.
Vale, lanza Accio seguido de 4 ataques consecutivos básicos.
Yeah. So we've set up a training dummy, and this is kind of an activity where you're supposed to execute according to kind of the iconography on the top.
Eso sería R2 abajo, quizá.
What we see on the top is the Accio spell, followed by 4 what we just kind of lovingly refer to as basic shots. There's certain spells what the wizards kind of like use, just kind of fling. Andrew's using one now. And you trigger that by tapping R2 on your controller. So you can see in the corner R2.
Sí.
So if you tap R2, that throws out a basic shot. But that R2 is also your gateway to all of the
Exactamente, será dirección,
so
¿verdad?
if you hold R2 instead, you can see how the diamond expands. And
X
if
cuadrado,
you see
triángulo,
how it
círculo.
contracts. And so if you hold it again, it expands. And so when it expands, then all the spells that you slotted while you're holding that button can now be tapped with your face buttons. And not only that, but over the course of the game, you can gain additional
16 al instante, hostia, es una movida eso,
ones, so that you can slot up to 16 spells, you know, pretty much instantly. And then that helped us fulfill the fantasy of in combat, I need to be able to access things very rapidly. And so you learn over the course of these events, you know, how to juggle not just the spell casting, but also it reinforces an understanding of another feature of the wheel, which is
eleva el maniquí
casting spells just to make sure that you're not just kind of like repeatedly using one thing over and over and over again. You can see cooldowns on the spells that he's using on the wheel, and then as you progress through the game, there are different things that can affect things like cooldowns.
Me gustan mucho las animaciones del muñeco,
different things that allow you to kind of like juggle and adjust and update those things. And so if you hold down R2 and you tap the D-pad, it will switch
triángulo, golpe, golpe, golpe,
them,
X.
and that's
how you access all
those.
Oh man, it looks like we're about to get some action over here.
Yeah. So this is
pinta demasiado bien, no me lo creo, tío. O sea, sí me lo creo, evidentemente, ¿vale? Pero pinta demasiado bien, tío, para que... No sé cómo va a salir esto, pero... Ahí está el combo.
Awesome.
Well done,
Andrew.
Habrá que verlo también con enemigos reales, no solamente con un puto maniquí, también te digo. Pero bueno. Ah, mira, aquí tenemos un combate más realista, a ver.
Attack, and if you tap the triangle button by default, then that you'll be able to deflect that attack that comes in and off with protect.
I love that deflect where it goes off and like hits things up and kind of breaks
vale,
things
esto me interesa,
But also,
o sea, hay counters.
Then it doesn't just deflect. It also deflects and turns around with a counter attack stupefy that actually stuns the enemy. And you can use that even in your combos and stuff. So if you're focused on a character, you know, and you're doing your thing, and someone else
¡Hostia, qué guapo!
actually turn that attack into a direct attack on the person that you're comboing.
Back into gameplay here. Andrew's gonna pretty handily finish these other students off here. Win this duel.
How fast it is. It's like a dance.
Yeah, we really felt like the,
Pinta muy bien, ¿eh?
we really felt like in the
Pinta muy bien.
it's
Esto que
almost
tiene
like
caídas de frames, pero bueno. Un vídeo.
It's kind of like a there's this element of kind of like fencing from a very great
Y
distance.
de que salga, pues, yo qué sé.
And there are a lot of things that
Oye, muy guay, en verdad, tío. Pinta, joder, pinta de puta madre esta mierda. Es que febrero es un mes matador, hay demasiados juegos. Lo comentaba en el podcast con Loco. Febrero es un mes en el que está en Atomic Heart, está Octopath Traveler 2. Hay 4000 mierdas. Pero este va a ser de One, tío. Este va a ser de One. Vale, no va a enseñar más, ¿no? No va a enseñar más. Vale, aquí van a dejarlo.
More or less gonna wrap it up for us for now, for what we wanted to show you. Character creator, tour of Hogwarts, and just that little taste of combat.
Vale, vamos a ver esto y ya está,
We didn't want to leave you without, well, maybe a little taste of something that we may show in the future, may show next time.
Okay.
You know, so leaving the castle, going out here.
Esto quería ver antes, joder. Salir con la escoba sobrevolando el exterior de Hogwarts.
Owl mail. There's the owlry again. Yes, all of the owls. But yeah, just heading out here again to show you, like, from Hogwarts to the world beyond Hogwarts. And this is not somewhere where we're going today, but we will definitely be taking you in the future. A little glimpse at the scale of the castle back there. All right, so we're gonna wrap things up here, but
No jodas, tío. O sea, es que mira cómo se ve, ¿eh? Pues gente, hasta aquí el vídeo, básicamente. En fin, os dejo en la descripción el vídeo completo por si queréis ver todo lo que explican y demás. Yo he ido al gameplay porque es lo que me interesa realmente. Mi resumen es que pinta demasiado bien. Y espero que no haya alguna letra pequeña por ahí que no estemos viendo ahora mismo. Porque pinta espectacularmente bien. En febrero lo jugaré segurísimo, le tengo muchísimas ganas. Dejadme en comentarios si os mola, si no os mola. Yo, ya os digo, me mola un huevo. Así que ya iremos viendo.